You know, I think sport is a lot about resilience and being able to bounce back after failure or after obstacles come our way. I mean, that's just the nature of it, and in particular, the nature of road cycling. It is probably one of the most tough sports because of all these things that are out of our control when it comes to crashing and tactics or punctures and all these type of things. So. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the person that I am, really. You know, I've had to overcome so many obstacles in my life, from a serious head injury in my final year at school, where the doctor said that I was brain damaged and would never finish school. And I went on to finish school with 7 distinctions. So it just speaks for the type of person that I am. You know, I never give up, and I'm always willing to take on the challenge.
Now, Ashleigh, you know, obviously Olympic preparations are well underway, but COVID-19 might have put a spanner in the works for you. I'm wondering if you can tell us about your preparation, ahead of the Olympics. What has that been like for you, particularly under lockdown?
Well, I mean, the COVID pandemic has been a huge challenge worldwide, and of course it hit all industries really hard, and of course cycling was one of those industries. But luckily, you know, there was light at the end of the tunnel. Virtual cycling, which or now esports, it's a new discipline as a result of the COVID pandemic. So we have the luxury, of course, of being able to train indoors on stationary trainers. And yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of the way that I managed to turn adversity into opportunity for myself. So although I didn't enjoy indoor training before the COVID lockdown, you know, I really took up the challenge, as I said. I'm accustomed to doing, and I managed to turn it around and to really learn how to love it, and I became very dominant in the virtual world and in the esports discipline, and then won a world title as the first ever esports world champion at the end of the 2020 year. So as I said, I think, you know, I was really proud of the way that I managed to create success out of such a big challenge, and I think that it's also stood me in good stead, or it's helped to form my character or mental toughness even more so in preparation for the 2021 2020 Olympic Games, but in 2021. Luckily cycling has managed to return to some kind of normal, and we have had a fair number of competitions. So it has been also great to be racing back on the road again.
Oh, like a true champ, you've navigated the storms that have come your way. And I'm just looking at, with less than a month to go before the Olympic Games, what is the focus right now? I mean, there's mental agility, there's also, endurance training that you have to undergo. But with under a month left before you compete, what is the focus now?
Well, I'm actually at the Giro. So our women's Giro dItalia starts this Friday on the 2nd of July, and we'll actually be live on SABC. So that's also great news for South Africans. So I'm with my trade team, SD Works, and we're doing the final preparations for the Giro, which is a 10-day stage race. And it's very much, a preparation race for me. It's the last race that I will be competing in before I leave for Tokyo. It's all about, coming together as a team. I've done a month's worth of altitude training where I've really focused on specific training for Tokyo. I've been meeting with my mental coach once a week. I've just come off a call with him today. So I feel like everything's coming together really well. And now the Giro is the last test before Tokyo.
So Ashleigh, when you look back at your previous competitions, I mean, back in Rio, you didn't win a medal, but I'm sure you gained a lot of insight that has perhaps carried you on ahead of these games, ahead of the Olympic Games come just under a month. Now, I'm looking at the lessons you've learned in that regard. I mean, what was your biggest takeaway from Rio, and how are you aiming to implement them this time around?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm very grateful that I'm going to my 3rd Olympic Games. I really do believe that experience at the Olympic Games is really important to be able to win that medal and to be successful. So, London 2012, I was really inexperienced and very green as an athlete. So London was a very overwhelming experience. And then I took the 4 years post-London to prepare for Rio. And although I was way better prepared, I still probably crumbled a little bit under the pressure, so that was probably my biggest takeaway, is that, on the race day, I felt like a weight on my shoulders, and that weight was pressure, and it affected my decision-making process in the race, and just being in touch with my gut instinct. I was too much in my head on that day, and so that was my biggest lesson at Rio, and post Rio, that's been something I've definitely been working on, and I think just age and maturity and experience has definitely helped, and I certainly feel in a very good space, both mentally and physically, for the Tokyo Games.
So would you say those small victories are perhaps some of the biggest lessons and victories you've had in the lead up to the big win, ultimately getting a medal come the Olympic Games in just under a month?
Yeah, I mean, we actually, most of the time we learn the most from our failures. So I think, obviously having had disappointing experiences or failures, especially at an Olympic Games, has definitely helped me to learn very valuable lessons. And, there's no doubt that an Olympic Games is a very unique sporting event. It really is the pinnacle of every athlete's career. It's something that I've dreamed about since I was a young child. And now to be going to my third Olympic Games and to be going for that medal, to win it would be a dream come true. And not only that, for South Africa, it would really be history, and I think that's something that really inspires me as an athlete as well. I'm definitely a purpose-driven athlete, and so, I take a lot of inspiration from the sort of inspirational motivation that I can give to others. And so, for me, I think that's one of my biggest driving forces at the moment, is to be able to really inspire not only a country, but a continent.
Well, Ashleigh, you certainly are inspiring us all, and we're wishing you all the best as you represent South Africa. Keep flying the flag high, and we'll see you on the podium. Again, that was Ashleigh Moolman-Pasio, one of the medal hopefuls for the upcoming Olympics. Again, wishing Team South Africa all the best of luck. Now, on that